Sunshine, blue sky. Wow, that feels good. For the last 3 days, I was closed in my cage. It was great, moving along really well. But after 3 days in the doghouse, I was going around in circles. Very little, if any, rest in the Great South. No less than 5 weather systems from South Africa to New Zealand shake up our Vendee Globe competitors. It's war out there. Winds are increasing, reaching almost 30 knots. Means we're going to need to take a reef. Oh yeah. Did you see where we are? Happy holidays, they wished me when I left the Figaro. Yeah, right. Wow, wow. Really rocking. Wow, this is serious heavy blasting. King Jean, always in great shape, the fastest over 24 hours yesterday with 20 knots average. Behind him, Thomas lost a lot of time, victim of a water ingress on the snorkel used to fill or empty the ballast. Bummer. We've got 45 knots and it's not getting any better. I closed off the hole and normally that should do until Les Sables d'Olonne. At the head of the race, Armel Leclerc is widening the gap by 190 miles with his direct opponent, Alex Thomson. They just passed the south of New Zealand. Making their way on a chaotic sea with sneaky rolling waves and weather systems complicated to deal with.
The boat's flying down waves at 30 knots sometimes before coming to an almost complete standstill. And it just means that you're being thrown around all over the place. You can hear the water rushing over the deck. And it's now that your mind starts to wonder what's going to happen. What happens if the structure fails? What happens if you hit something? I do wonder why I do it sometimes.
Your thoughts on this edition of the Vendee Globe, Loic?
I'm impressed on each edition, but especially this one. Really impressed by what Armel and Alex are doing right now, and are doing since the start, in fact. Well, we all know that the boats are a little faster, but as I was saying a few minutes ago, it's not only a matter to have the fastest boat under your boots, it's the way to manage it and to support to go fast every day, every hour, every minute. And I'm really impressed by the level.
And it's a very, very inclusive race, this one, Loic, from the front to the back, a big spread of the fleet, but a big spread of abilities as well.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. We knew before the start that we had a little bunch of favoris, as we say in French, possible leaders like the new boats, the new foiling ones, and we knew that, how many are there? 29 were there at the start. We knew that just 6 or 8 of them were supposed to be really faster than the other ones. We know, and we knew before the start, that 2/3 of the fleet were just, I should say just, that's not just, but they just want to finish the globe, not to win it. And which is quite different to the previous editions 4 years ago, or even 8 years ago, where we had a lot of boats able to win. And so that's why, but that's quite amazing to see that the leaders are already in the Pacific, and the last one is still in the Atlantic. And I don't know if in the previous editions it happens to have such a big distance between the...
No, and I think that the big difference is that the leaders could just catch a front, and then the door closed for the guys behind them with Saint-Helena high, basically giving a big light wind patch, and that was it.
Anyway, thanks, guys. I think we'll have a quick look at our 3D animation, how the fleet stands at midday just now. There's been 3 skippers passing the Great Capes over the course of the last 24 hours, starting off with Jan Elias and Jean-Pierre Dick crossing the Cape Lewin, and this morning Didac Costa passing the Cape of Good Hope. Jan Elias and Jean-Pierre Dick passed the longitude of Cape Lewin, scrapping for 5th place at the moment. Jan passed yesterday evening, and during last night, Jean-Pierre Dick passed the Cape Lewin. At the front, dealing with the Tasmanian devil of a depression, well, Alex Thomson and Armel Leclerc. Alex is 100 miles north of Armel's track and 170 miles behind, and they're making around about 18 to 19 knots over the last period. On top form just now is Jean Le Cam, who's the fastest of the fleet right now over the last 24 hours. Louis Berton also has the hammer down. He's going well, done 446 miles in 24 hours. He's extra vigilant just now, considering there's ice just to the north of the Kerguelen Islands. Then the duel between Stéphane Le Deraison and Nandar Fa, 25 miles of lateral separation. Le Deraison is in the 2007 Hugo Boss. Arnaud Boissy has repaired his mast track. The mainsail cars damage to them. He's had to slow down, but he is going well again on Michelin. Roman Attanasio has left Simonstown this morning after repairing his rudders, a small hull delamination as well. He's delighted to be back on course. We did speak with him earlier in the day, and as I say, Didac Costa passed the Cape of Good Hope at 5:37 this morning. Sebastian Destremo is still becalmed, now 320 miles in front of him. We do hopefully have Enda O'Coineen, our Irish cultural ambassador, on board Kilcullen Voyager. Enda, can you hear us today?
Yes, good morning. I hear you loud and clear. Bonjour, all well in Paris?
All's good in Paris. How's life on the Kilcullen Voyager? You look to be in good form.
Yeah, well, I have a problem with my lazy backstays, and they broke. My number 2 reef, I thought it was in place, but it wasn't. So when I jibed, it snapped the lazy backstays, and that's simple enough. That's not an issue. But the broken lines have all wrapped around the halyards, so it's a bit of a clusterfuck with my halyards. So that's my problem today. So I'm working on solving that problem. But otherwise, it's a good day. I'll give you a view looking astern. It's a nice, about 18 knots breeze. We're doing about 12 knots boat speed, and she's looking good. Other than that, it's warmed up a little as well. The sun has come out, which is kind of nice.
Are you enjoying it down there? This is what you signed up for.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's amazing. It's amazing sailing. We have everything under the rainbow, and it's been an incredible adventure to date. You know, the camaraderie, I think, between the skippers is good. We chat, and you know, it's an extraordinary experience to be sailing out here in the Southern Ocean. I formed the Southern Ocean Residents Association, and I've been elected president, or president-elect. I'll be inaugurated the same day as President Trump. And we're quite democratic. We have lots of meetings and discussions, so it's not me on the boat, it's the glorified we. And so, you know, the mind entertains itself. And the South Atlantic Residents Association are very active at the moment. It used to be the South Atlantic Residents Association and the Indian Ocean, but they merged. So we now just have the Southern Ocean Residents Association. So it's all great.
Good, and all's good with the boat. You don't have any big repairs to do?
Nothing structural, no. She's a good boat. I've been minding her very carefully. It's a 24/7, or as the Americans say, 25/8. There's a lot of, you know, constant maintenance work, and just to try and keep her all in shape. But you know, so far so good. I feel very fortunate. I've been hearing about some of the other tough damage that some of the other skippers have faced, so I think I'm quite fortunate in that respect. I have my issues, but nothing that I can't overcome.
And just tell us, Enda, what's your response like when you hear about that kind of damage or something that happens in the fleet? Do you change the way you sail, or do you just get on with it?
I think you kind of you get used to it at this point, but it does change your behaviour a bit. I think there's an emotional connectivity. You really don't want it to happen to your fellow competitor. But, you know, we're living on the edge 24/7. You just, you know, 2 minutes time I could hit something and bam. You know, as Winston Churchill he said, if you're living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. So I feel a little that way sometimes. So you know, life is as it is. You take each moment as it goes, and you know, so far so good. We're a third of the way around, and still a lot of mountains to climb.
Good. Enda, listen, we have a special guest for you who's with us in the Salon Nautique and here in Paris, who's very keen to speak with you, someone you know quite well but haven't spoken to you for a while.
Yes, and if you hear me, I think the last time we've chat together, that was 37 years ago, when we've done the mini transat together. I mean, you were on your boat and I was on mine, in '79. Do you remember?
I could never forget. Lovely to hear. That's prehistoric times. Can you imagine being that old?
No, you feel a little older like me. You look a little older. I'm so happy. That's funny. You know what? That's crazy because I just discovered you were racing after the start. I didn't exactly follow the list of the entries list, and suddenly I've seen on the list Enda O'Coin. Oh, I know the name. All right, a little check, yes. And then we were doing when we were 19. How old were you in '79? You were older than me?
Oh, I was in nappies. I was just out of preschool. I would have been about, I think, 24, something like that, 25.
Yes, I was doing at this time.
That was a great adventure. I dropped out of sailing and I focused on business. So this is sort of a return to sailing. I stayed involved as an amateur, but yeah, I'd been around about that age, and I fell in love in Antigua and did all sorts of romantic things. I lived on the boat for about 6 months, and we sailed it around the Caribbean, and we had some fantastic adventures. That's when we lived on boats those days. In my the 21-foot boat was a big yacht to me at that particular time. So as you grow older, the boats get bigger.
Hopefully, yes. And I read somewhere, but I'm pretty sure you've talked about that before, but I read that you were, or you are still the leader of the Irish pubs, or something like that? What is it? Is it? Well, yes, are you missing it?
Everywhere, I've invested, I own 4 Irish pubs, but everywhere you go in the world, there's an Irish pub. In France, I mean, there's some fabulous Irish pubs, O'Sullivan's in Paris, and I think there's about 20 or 30 Irish pubs in Paris alone. In France, there's about 300. But they just happened all over the world. Irish people are good at hospitality and music and culture. And I traveled the world, and everywhere I went, there was an Irish pub. So about 7 years ago, we formed an association of Irish pubs outside of Ireland around the world. So there's a network of over 7,000 Irish pubs in Peru, New Zealand. In Auckland, there's 20, all around the United States, Germany, France, Spain. So, I became president of the association. It's the Irish Pubs Global Federation. It's a network of Irish pub owners, and I also have invested in some pubs myself in Prague, in the Czech Republic, and of course in Ireland. So yes, I drink for Ireland.
You're a very, very smart guy. That's why you are also a sailor, which is good.
I'm well educated. I got mother's milk at the right time, well bred and brought up, as they say. So tell me about Paris. Is it good there at the boat show?
A lot of boats, a lot of people on Saturday, and everybody's dreaming, especially when we hear all you guys, when everybody's following the Vendee Globe. And I'm racing against you, like thousands, hundreds of thousands of people on virtual regatta. I think you are behind me.
Oh, oh dear. Well, I could only expect that. I'll give you a look there. This is a stern. There's a little bit of clutter on the... you can see the sea stage is relatively nice. It's a very, very pleasant day. The Southern Ocean has many humours, and I think it's in a good humour today. The sunshine certainly warms things up considerably. And give you a look astern there, the wake of the boat. My boat is about 10 years old, and I'm very proud of it. We're in good shape, and she's come together very well. So it's just fantastic to have a boat in this race, and the interest is fabulous. I think in Ireland, the race wasn't very well known, but there is a lot of interest now. We've created a schools program, and we're getting a lot of feedback with kids, which is fabulous. When you get as old as we are, it's nice to put something back in. So hopefully I'm the first Irish entry in the Vendee Globe. I'm certainly the oldest, and I'm certainly the youngest, and I hope not the last. So it has opened interest, and I think relations between Ireland and France, the European Union, are very good, and I think it's lovely to have this connectivity, and I'm really fantastically pleased with the interest in France in what we're doing, and it's an incredible event and incredible interest.
Enda, your video of you playing the tin whistle has gone viral. It's one of the most popular things of the race so far. Wonder whether you might give us a little treat, some kind of cultural treat to finish off on.
Well, maybe I could recite a poem. It's I'll just do a stanza. It's from W.B. Yeats. Though I am old and wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I'll go out into the woods, and I will find out where she has gone. I will kiss her lips and take her hands and pluck till time and time is done the silver apple of the moon, the golden apple of the sun. It's the final stanza from W.B. Yeats' Wandering Angus. It's quite a moving, romantic poem, so a bit of poetry never does anybody a little bit of harm. I could play you some music, but maybe we'll save that for the next time.
We'll save that for next time, Enda. A pleasure as always to speak with you. Thanks very much, Enda. We do have a live audience here in Paris.
For sure. Thank you.
So that's Enda Koinian lying in the 15th place. His boat is the former Gamesa and Ecover 3 of Mike Golding. Nicely prepared, and he's going quite well. Alex Thomson sent a video yesterday which really exemplified what the conditions are like in the middle of this low pressure they've been struggling with. He said it's brutal, and he did actually wonder why he was out there. This is Alex yesterday.
Hi everybody. Well, it's 1 o'clock GMT in the afternoon. It's pitch black here. We'll be getting light soon. Luckily, it's not dark for too long, but in the dark it's always much worse than the light. I've got 35 to 45 knots of wind, 6.5 meter waves, and it's dreadfully uncomfortable. The boat's flying down waves at 30 knots sometimes before coming to an almost complete standstill, and it just means that you're being thrown around all over the place. You can hear the water rushing over the deck, and it's now that your mind starts to wonder what's going to happen. What happens if the structure fails? What happens if you hit something? It's much harder in the pitch black to be able to deal with the thoughts of the whole thing. I'm sitting on my bunk here. This is where I try and sleep. Sleeping is a bit of a commodity at the moment. Just worry about what's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 minutes, how long it's going to last for, when the next gust's going to come. Only another half a day or to do a day of this, and then hopefully it's going to calm down. So looking forward to that, looking forward to getting my house in order, looking forward to eating some proper food and relieving some of the stress. I do wonder why I do it sometimes.
Well, Alex Thomson told yesterday about the brown trouser moments, and that looked to be one of them, but just a harrowing video. Loic, what are your thoughts on Alex's race and the video that we've just seen? It's incredible, isn't it?
Yes, it is, especially when Alex is saying that. You know, we all know that that's a tough guy, and it's pretty clear that he's tired. He's in very good shape in terms of in the racing side, but that's quite impressive. Yeah, the way usually that's what I said on the French side a few minutes ago. Usually the Anglo-Saxon or even the Brits are a bit like Ellen was doing, with a bit of a bit of drama, a bit of emotion, which was nice. But in the case of Alex, that's impressive. That means that's not nothing. That means that it's really hard to go fast, to go fast 24 hours a day. And right now he's in, I can't say in trouble, but it's hard.
Yes, I sailed a lot with Alex, and he's always been in great spirit and pushing hard, but you can really see that now he's uncomfortable, he's tired and worried. And who wouldn't be, because the seas are confused and there's lots of wind. Now already for the third day in a row they're in storm conditions, and how do you keep yourself going and try to get some sleep while there's all this danger around you?
Thanks, Wouter. Wouter, talk to us a little bit about the weather that's going to, the strategy that's going to happen over the next few days at the front of the fleet. Alex should be, or Alex and Armel should be out of the worst of this storm.
Yes, so the biggest challenge at the moment for the skippers is that they can't sleep, and yet they have to make a very, very important strategic choice for the next couple of days. So this is actually where it's as much a game of endurance and sailing the boat hard, but trying to keep it safe, as it is a game of chess. So we have on Monday, so in 2 days' time, a low pressure which comes down from the north, and this is going to cause a lot of strong winds, squalls, and possibly, if you're in the wrong place, you could end up upwind, so the wind's against you instead of from behind. A very tricky scenario, and the two competitors, Armel and Alex, are making very different choices at the moment. So yes, we can see them here. So at the moment they are dealing with this small low, which you can see just where the boats are. But on the right-hand side of the screen, that is where the race decision is going to be made. Because this low is going to travel down, and it's very hard to predict. But you already have to make a choice. So Armel, the blue boat, is going for a southerly course. Alex is already preparing for a more northerly course, which should give him more downwind winds, but also maybe more squalls and more strong big waves.
And what about, if we could maybe have a quick look at the second page, what's going on with the boats in the second half of the fleet, if you like?
Yeah, so the second part of the fleet, this is a very classic scenario where you try to run, push and push as hard as you can to stay ahead of the front. Because as Loïc and I know very well, ahead of the front you have nice and warm weather, the water is still flat, and the wind is quite easy, the sailing conditions are fast and easy. But once you drop off the front, like we see with the grey boat, then all of a sudden you get the cold winds from the Antarctic. The seas are very confused and the winds are much lighter. So you will lose hundreds of miles by dropping off the front before the others. It's like catching a wave on the beach, you know, and surfing it as far as you can, and there's a lot at stake.
Thank you very much, Wouter, and thanks also to Loïc Perron. Thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully we'll catch up with you both at different points in the future. Meantime, Rich Wilson, our American skipper, is in 18th place. He's been doing about 9 to 10 knots over the last 24 hours. He's in company with Alan Rura, and also he's been exchanging emails with one or two of the boats round about him. He enjoys the solidarity of racing in company with other boats. He's in formidable form at the moment. He's at his best. He's really dependable. He sticks to his processes and sails to his limits. And this is what Rich said to us earlier on when we spoke to him.
Yes, all good. The boat is good, and I'm fine too. We've we had a little bit of a squall come through in the middle of the night. Had to get up pretty quickly and get the fractional generator rolled up, but that sorted out okay. And it was a beautiful night before that. Stars are out, moon's out beautifully, and the albatross are out. And it's one of those days where you wish every day in the Southern Ocean was like that, but it isn't. So you have to still stay on your guard. been getting a little bit more sleep. I think with get down here with more wind, there are fewer options for sails and so forth. So maybe have a little less to do sometimes. I mean, we've had a couple of episodes in the last few days. I mean, I wrote about it a couple of days ago when the front came through, and we had the two reefs and the fractional Jenniker up, and suddenly we had 48 knots of wind, and the boat just took off like a submarine. I can't imagine how much water was over the boat. And we hit a speed over 30 knots. And fortunately, was able to get the Jenniker rolled up without damage. That was a pretty close call for not just that sail, but who knows what else might have broken. And that was, I never ever want to see that kind of a speed again. It was completely accidental, and it doesn't do anything for the race. It just brings high risk, those high speeds. So that was kind of my big episode in the last week. But it's been nice actually. We've had with Eric Bellion and Alan Rora here. Eric made a nice repair on his rudders, and Alan's had some drama as well on board, and we've been having a very nice email exchange between the three of us, which brings some great humanity here to the Southern Ocean, I think. So I really enjoyed that, and I think that they have as well. In fact, Alan went by this morning about just 12 miles ahead or so. We saw him on the AIS. He was heading inbound from the Antarctic exclusion zone, and we were still heading southeast. He was heading northeast. He was ahead of us, and then we eventually jibed, and then he came back down, and so we're a little bit closer, about 7 miles away where we were at the last crossing. I tried to call him on the VHF, but wasn't able to get through. But it's nice to have company here, that's for sure.
Well, Rich Wilson, great work as usual. Nice, steady progress and sailing within his limitations. Guillaume, you had a couple of skippers, Paul Meillat and Conrad Coleman on the French Live. What was Paul Meillat saying as the top rookie in third place?
Yeah, Paul Meillat is doing a very good race, third place in the classification. He's enjoying a maximum because he has a good boat. He's having a good time, even if it's hard because they are near the ice wall. So he has to be careful because he cannot go in, he cannot go out, he doesn't have choice, so he has to face the wind. But he deals with it. He has very cold and physical conditions. He still has to push, and he will continue to keep the pace.
And you also spoke with Conrad Coleman. Conrad was in good form. I think delighted to speak with Loic Perron.
Yeah, that's it. Conrad had good fun speaking live with Loic Perron, the Jedi Master, as you said. And he explained us some nice thing. He doesn't have a hardtop on his boat, so he has to put a helmet on with a visor. So,
visor, yeah.
Yeah, a visor. Like this, he can go outside and see what he does.
I think he tries to minimise that as little as possible, but he's doing, again, another skipper who's real inspiration at the moment, Conrad Coleman, keeping his boat together and really sailing extremely well. Somebody who worked for more than 10 years to get to the Vendee Globe, and he really is living it to the full. A ray of sunshine today is Roman Attanasio, who really also is enjoying the full Vendee Globe adventure. He started back onto the race course from Simonstown in South Africa, having repaired his rudders. He spent 2.5 days there at anchor, repairing his rudders, a small delamination at the back of the hull. So he's done all that, and of course it's a sudden interface with the public and the whole world, and this is what Roman told us earlier on today.
The last 5 days was completely crazy. All was really complicated to fix my rudders, to fix the hull, so crazy 2 days to come here, crazy 3 days to fix, and now yes, I'm in the race again. It was really difficult to fix the rudders, and the worst is the hull because I really don't know. I'm not an architect. I'm not a preparator. When I arrived 3 days ago in the bay, I take the mooring and I drop the sails, and a few minutes after I realized there's no sound, nothing, the big silence. It was crazy. I think, wow, crazy sensation.
So Roman Attanasio back on the race course, full of beans really, and he's about 200 miles behind Didac Costa. There's going to be a nice little battle there, I think, between the two of them. Didac on the old Kingfisher, a 2000 boat, and Roman's started off in 1998. Boats have been round the world as many times as any IMOCA, and I think that's one to watch. Anything else that Roman said in the French that was of interest?
Yes, so Roman was really surprised by the silence. After 1 month of noise in the boat, he enjoyed this little moment, even if it was to fix his boat. And he had a fun moment with the public, because a woman came to him with a canoe, and she wanted to offer him a Coke and stickers. Why? We don't know, but he had to refuse.
It's just and he has to refuse absolutely everything in terms of outside help, even a can of Coke, anything at all. You have to just keep the public at bay. Anyway, that's our English Live for today. We're going to be joined tomorrow, hopefully, by Sam Goodchild, a young British sailor with aspirations to do the Vendee Globe. And hopefully we'll connect him with Eric Bellion, who did the Transat Jacques Vabre. Sam really was a little bit of a mentor for Eric at that stage. We'll join the two of them tomorrow. Join us live at the same time. Meantime, what does the King have for breakfast? Jean Le Cam making breakfast at 25 knots on board his boat, and this is what it looks like.
Ah bah dis donc, alors là ça bastonne. Waouh, on fait combien là? 25 nœuds, 27 nœuds. Je vais vous faire montrer comment, avec 30 nœuds de vent, à plus de 20 nœuds de moyenne, on fait la cuisine. Vous voyez là, la bonne saucisse là. Ça c'est de la bonne saucisse là. Oh là là, là 25 nœuds. Donc là je mets directement, je mets les chips dedans. Et puis je vais sortir 2 crisp rolls pour agrémenter le tout. Je les mets dedans parce que je sais pas où les poser, sinon il y a que là que ça tient. Donc voilà le plat fini. Donc les saucisses, les crisp rolls avec des chips. Voilà, bah, bon appétit à tous et puis et puis à bientôt. Allez, à ciao.